Okay? Here's our way of dealing with it. And I've seen other stats on this, but over 30% of the population today relies on anti-anxiety and depressant medication. If we don't use that, we may drug ourselves, drugs and alcohol, we ignore the problem or whatever, but that's a serious problem. Is that fixing your stress? If my wife and I are just at it, our kids are driving us nuts and we're pulling hair, and I take an antidepressant, did I fix the problem? Now I have two problems. The kids are still doing stuff in the house. I don't know it, and now I have chemicals in my body. And these chemicals alter your brain. You don't want to alter your brain. It's like taking God out of your body and saying, just survive on your own. Bad stuff. This was a quote from them, and this isn't a chiropractic thing. It says it was good for pharmaceutical companies, has its long-term health issues, it creates more stress. So who's promoting the drugs? Yeah, it's usually not your doctor. The doctor's just following through with what's being kept going through. It's the pharmaceutical companies that are promoting this. They're making billions. 75% of all the drugs on the market are 75% of all the money that they spend on drugs is used on marketing. 25% or less is used on the effects and so forth, research. So marketing they're a business. Remember, they're a business to make money. So tells me all under stress at the end of the night. Accumulated stress and aging. Okay, now this is where the rubber meets the road. I want you to walk through it. We're going to walk through this slow. I want you to get a handle on this. You don't have to be an expert on brain, hormones, and all this stuff, but I want you to understand it to this level and how it affects you. And then if you can get it, you can review it. But don't try to, don't be overwhelmed here. Because I tried to take a huge amount of information and squeeze it into some real grasp understanding. Okay, so we're under stress. What happens is stress slows down HGH, your human growth hormone. All right? And if you have questions we go through here, just stop me. I'm not a chemical biologist and all this stuff, but I can understand this. Let's just walk through it slow. So HGH is your master hormone. Listen to this. It stimulates cell growth, reproduction, and regeneration. Okay? So you need human growth hormone for regeneration and healing. If you cut your leg, you need regeneration and healing. If you have a stomach ache or you have the flu, you need regeneration and healing. So you need high amounts of HGH dumped into your body to heal. Does that make sense? So human growth hormone, growth. And it's not this growth hormone. You're going to be a stud. Like more of it. So when faced with stress, real or imagined, and I told Wendy and Michelle this today, I said, if I tell you that your house burned down and you had $100,000 in cash that you were going to go pay all the bills off in a briefcase or something, and your house burned down and you lost all your money, if you really believed it in your imagination, it has the same effects on your body, stress-wise, than if it were real. So real or imagined. As we go through this, you'll see how this is really important. This starts to build on your answers as we get to the end here. Homeostasis, balance, is disrupted. Our body wants to be in homeostasis or balance. If it's too hyper, your body's going to burn out. If it's too hypo, you're not getting enough. So it always wants to revert back, like to eat sugar. Hyper, and then your body dumps insulin. Hypo, and you're tired, and then your body comes back after now, and then you're normal again. Homeostasis, balance. When you're in homeostasis, your body's healing. So when you're faced with stress, you're out of balance. You're either high or low. As your body protects and survives, this is called the stress response. So your body has to protect itself. All right? Stress originates in the brain, mind. It's in the limbic system inside this little peg inside there. Stress originates in the brain or mind. Remember when we went up here, real or imagined? How you perceive it is in your brain. All right? I'm not losing anyone here, am I? I had to go through this and really taper it down. It's real involved. But so it originates in your brain through electrical impulses. That's the nerve system. Isn't that amazing? So your brain and nerve system, this is where chiropractic help you deal with stress to huge amounts. We're not going to get into that now. That's your perception. So when you're under stress, some of you, and I remember hearing this when I was in chiropractic school. I learned some of this stuff, and I thought, you know what? If I go out and I've had to practice this, and I'm still not a perfectionist, but if I go out here and I hit a pothole, well, you might hit one out here. They're all over there. You hit a pothole and you blow a tire. You can, geez, this is ridiculous. I can't. That's stress. That's how we respond. It's creating an immune response. I'm getting sick, and I'm out of homeostasis. For you, Stephanie, you may go out and hit a pothole and go, that's no big deal. I'll just call my husband. Hey, just chilled out. She's calm, cold. It hadn't affect her. So she's going to be healthier and not develop disease. Here I'm developing disease every time I perceive it that way. So you may start to go, no, it's not going to happen. I'm upset.
I've seen you do that so many times.
I tried it like, you know what? Okay, this isn't as big as it is. After a day or so, you realize it's not that big anyhow. But you have to really get a grip on how you perceive things, how your mind perceives it. If your mind perceives it as horrible, your whole body just reacting. And disease is setting in every time you do that. That's how serious it is. Okay, get it? The hypothalamus. Electrical signals cause the hypothalamus, cause the hypothalamus into self-preservation mode. Okay, so when you're under stress, your hypothalamus says, uh-oh, we have to self-preserve, all right? So in this mode, the body's rejuvenation process, remember the HGH, human growth hormones dumped to rejuvenate cells, this rejuvenation process is shut down, and you begin to tap into your reserve energy, okay? So HGH, click, turned off. Now you're using reserve energy from organs and muscles and anywhere it can get it. You're depleting your body's energy system. Doesn't sound good, does it?
Hypothalamus.
That's just part of the brain, and that's where this all originates. So when your body perceives it, your hypothalamus, it's just my thing. Don't worry about these technical things. That's just where it all originates, and the hypothalamus controls your body's response to this. So if you live on reserve, you begin to age and break down, and that happens rapidly. You can't live on reserve like this. So if you're always perceiving things as bad and horrible, your HGH is shut off, and you're burning up all this other tissue energy, and then it leads to chronic sickness.
Dr. Tressler, does your body just produce HGH naturally?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So it's always in your brain, your body, and your hypothalamus is always saying, okay, we need to heal. So human growth hormones being dumped. And if you're nice and relaxed, like those beach scenes, and I'm always telling people this, when you get sick, get an adjustment, drink water, and do what? Sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. You need to rest. Because when you're resting, your mind and your body is not under stress, I hope. So what are you doing? You're dumping HGH and you're rejuvenating. And people, and I've heard, didn't you just say one of your kids slept? And they slept like all day, and then the next day they were fine. And she may have had the flu or whatever it was. Fine. I see with my kids all the time. They'll sleep like 10 hours. They'll wake up and they're groggy and tired, a little bit. By a few hours later, they're totally fine. They're totally like 100%. But they sleep, a long period of time. That's when their HGH is being dumped and healing. So if you live on that, this stops HGH, cell growth and repair are just shut down. Then your hypothalamus secretes CRH, corticotropin releasing hormone. So don't worry about being technical here. If you want to be technical, you'll look at this stuff up and get all this. So when we're in reserve, no HGH, so you're not healing, then your hypothalamus secretes CRH. Okay?